Bitcoin's fake out has done its job, and now the structure is speaking with clarity. This is Bitcoin on point, where I give you the only news that matters and the cleanest technical analysis to trade the best asset in the world, Bitcoin. And not so long ago, Bitcoin gave us the fake out at those key 95k levels, and this move tested the conviction. But now the breakout is actually real. We have seen sustained momentum back above the $94,000 resistance mark. So when structure, flow, and macro data start aligning at the same time, this is when markets tend to move with intent. And at the same time, our next trade setup is building, where we are publicly taking $10,000 to 100k in our live trading challenge. All of these details, updates, and executions are shared in my Telegram channel, and the link for that is in the description. Now, before we go deeper into the charts, the macro backdrop is strengthening. Insight: Vitalik says DeFi still needs truly decentralized stablecoins, not just $1 pegs, but designs that survive censorship, bad oracles, and incentive failures. So what Vitalik is initially saying is we need that truly decentralized nature for stablecoins, and it tells us that focus isn't on the short-term price action. It's more so on the long-term resilience, and this is how real financial infrastructure gets built. Now, looking at X cash tags data, which revealed Bitcoin and crypto stay central amid attention and positioning. Data from X shows the top cash tags from December through mid-January include Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, alongside major equities like Tesla and GME. So this comes as X prepares to roll out smart cash tags, which are designed to boost financial asset discovery and interaction. The takeaway is that Bitcoin isn't sidelined, it's actually being integrated deeper into mainstream financial conversation. Now, on to our next piece of macro information, studying Bitcoin ETFs, where we saw one of the strongest days of inflows, where they managed to pull in over $830 million in a single session, which was dominated by BlackRock's IBIT, which initiated $648 million of those inflows. So this isn't leverage, this isn't speculation, this is institutional allocation. So when you connect all of the dots, core DeFi structure is still evolving, Bitcoin is dominating financial attention, and there are massive spot ETF inflows. This isn't noise, this is capital positioning itself ahead of continuation. Now let's bring all of this macro data back to the charts. And starting with the daily time frame, we did see the $94,000 fake out, which initially brought Bitcoin back down to 90k, which was the previous level of resistance on multiple failed breakout attempts, where we initially turned this $90,000 into support before going for the official breakout, which has now seen Bitcoin rally above its $94,000 resistance and actually push on to 97k. So instead of rolling over, it reclaimed that major level of resistance and held it, and continued to break higher. Strong markets shake you out at first, then they move. Which brings us over to our 12-hour time frame, where we're witnessing a very bullish setup. As we speak, Bitcoin is breaking out from a massive Adam and Eve structure, where we have the Adam, which is this sort of V-shaped recovery into that 95k resistance. We then form this round bottom, which was our Eve, and then that initially led to the breakout a couple of days ago. In fact, it was yesterday where we initially saw the push through this major resistance zone. So price is doing exactly what this pattern suggests, which is continuing the breakout higher. So structure isn't magic, it's probability that's actually playing out. Now, zooming into Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame, we do have a new defined pullback zone, we were speaking about Bitcoin's fake out at 94K and the path to actually breaking through this resistance on the larger time frames. This is where Bitcoin got rejected. It came back to 90K, built this higher low base, and then it took out that major resistance, which was this previous high at $94,000. So the main objective here, if we are meeting local resistance at 97K, is to come back and turn the previous level of resistance into support before the continued expansion. So the move is pretty simple. We had a fake out, corrected back to 90K, built a higher low base, and then got the extension. Now we've broken out of major resistance. Turning this previous high into support is what would validate the continuation and expansion higher. Now, just a quick update on our trading challenge, where I'm publicly taking $10,000 with the aims of turning it into 100K, fully transparent, fully public. Now, we've already executed our first trade on TON, where we had an entry at $1.74 and a take profit at $1.77, and this trade was executed perfectly. I did have a second trade that was aiming to execute on Bitcoin, but that got invalidated by a few points, although it was a good trade setup. So right now, the next trade is already setting up. Guys, I do not chase the moves. I wait for the structure and I document everything live. So all of these trade updates, entries, exits, and reasonings are shared in my Telegram channel, and the link for that is in the description. You can also find this exquisite profits precision platform to track and manage every trade properly so that everything stays clean and accountable. The link for that is also in the description below. Now, shifting over to Ethereum on the daily time frame, ETH was respecting an ascending level of support, holding its daily demand zone, and equally respectively closing back above its daily 50 EMA. So reclaiming this moving average was key for the identified move higher into the draw on liquidity. So we do have resistance above at 3.4K for ETH, but nonetheless, we've been respecting the daily demand zone, building higher lows, and have reclaimed this 50 EMA. We now simply wait for the retracement and attention at $3,400, which was this previous high from mid to, well, it was early December actually. So this is constructive behavior. It's holding trend support whilst building demand underneath, and this keeps the bullish structure intact. Now, on the 4-hour chart, Ethereum is pretty much mirroring Bitcoin. Earlier levels have worked cleanly, back down on the order block, and we've seen a macro breakout above some very key important levels. These important levels were at 3.3K, and we covered this on multiple videos. So what I'm actually looking for now is some consolidation and for price to respect the current key levels below on these previous highs to hold support at 3.3K and then look for the continued expansion. So if this key level holds, continuation remains the base case. It's the same playbook with the same discipline. So when we summarize and zoom out, Bitcoin on the daily time frame did have a fake out at 94K resistance. It then corrected back down to 90K, turned that into support before officially getting the confirmational breakout. On the 12-hour time frame, Bitcoin has confirmed a massive bullish Adam and Eve continuation pattern. On the 4-hour time frame, Bitcoin is now looking to respect the previous 94K high and turn it into support before the continuation. ETH on the daily has seen massive daily demand and broken through its 50-day EMA support with 3.4K resistance waiting above at draw side liquidity. And we also have ETH on the 4-hour that needs to respect its key levels on this previous high at 3.3K before the continuation. Macro, ETF inflows, and infrastructure progress are unwinding in front of our very eyes. So this isn't hype, this is alignment. Fake outs are what test the belief, and structure rewards the patience. So now we simply let the price come to our levels and let the market do the rest of the talking. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next update.